Listen, this live stream is for adults only. It's for educational and entertainment purposes.
My name is Peter J. Dumas, and I'm not your average criminal defense attorney. I don't help people get away with crimes. I help them get a grip. At the law offices of Peter J. Dumas, we believe in one thing: accountability with dignity. Maybe you texted your getaway driver mid-robbery. Maybe you thought your burner phone wouldn't be traced because you turned off Bluetooth. Maybe, just maybe, you posted your crimes to your own Instagram story, and now you're looking at hard time and harder conversations with your grandma. That's where I come in. I'm not here to argue that you were framed by the deep state or that the drugs weren't yours. I'm here to help you say the words every judge longs to hear. Your Honor, I was a complete dillhole. We offer services like guilty plea coaching, apology letter spell check, mugshot makeover consultation, and our exclusive Sorry I Did That merch package to wear at sentencing. Because at the law offices of Peter J. Dumas, we don't run from consequences. We walk toward them, in loafers, with our heads held high. So if you've recently been a complete dillhole, don't call a high-powered shark who promises to get you off scot-free. Call me, Peter J. Dumas, attorney at law, the law offices of Peter J. Dumas. We don't make excuses, we make grown-ups.
Well, hello there, my friend. Welcome back. I'm just checking my audio, make sure everything's good. My name's Gavin. This is my channel. We are a true crime channel. We like to cut through the fluff and sensationalism of true crime, get down to the nitty gritty, and if that's your deal, you found the right place, and I'm glad you did. Welcome. Hey, speaking of welcome, we are welcoming today back to the show. I don't know how many times she's been on, but we love it when she comes on. It's Elizabeth Jones from Hillbilly Crime. Elizabeth, you are here. Welcome.
Hi, Fish. How you doing?
I've been doing all right. How you been doing?
Good. Thanks for having us.
How's everything down there in your corner of Appalachia?
Well, we got a little bit of an update with the Mickey Stines case.
Yeah? What's the update?
And so we have found now that the last interview that Jeremy Bartley, Mickey's lawyer, did, he was quoted by Ned Pillersdorf, the lawyer for the women. He was quoted by Ned saying that Mickey was under pressure at the last deposition and kind of has changed it all about now. So he's asking the judge to reopen the discovery, to allow it to open back up for another 6 months, and to order another deposition.
Okay, let's set the stage here for a second. Okay,
Yeah,
quick set the stage. No, you did great. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I've got a lot of new viewers. I think some of them have no idea what we're talking about. So real quick, guys, down in Kentucky, a judge named Kevin Mullins, this past September, was gunned down to death on camera by his, I used to call him friend, let's say workplace associate, the sheriff, Mickey Stines. It was caught on video. I'm not going to show the video because I get demonetized every time I do that. But he got shot down in his chambers. Now, that begs the question, why is there a camera in a judge's chambers? Nobody's ever heard of that before. Well, it turns out they put a camera in Judge Mullins' chambers because there was some hanky-panky going on, and I'm really downplaying what was going on. There was some SA going on in that judge's chambers, and it was being done that we know of. A man who pled guilty to it was Mickey Stines' deputy, a guy named Ben Fields. But one of the women that made the accusation in the first place also said that she saw, her name is Sabrina Atkins. She said that she had seen a video of Judge Mullins doing the same thing. So this is like, I'm not going to show the actual deed, but this is the view of the of the chambers. Okay. That's a pretty good setting the stage, right, Elizabeth? Oh, no, I missed a part. What happened was this happened on a Thursday. The previous Monday, Mickey Stines was being deposed in a civil federal lawsuit against him and Mr. Fields, alleging that basically Mickey Stines should have trained Fields better. Is kind of what happened, right? So that's where we are now. You're telling me now that Ned is like, we want to depose him again.
Yes. So I'm just going to point out, I hate to point out that I'm the one that kind of pointed out about the other lawyer being at the deposition.
Okay, tell people about that. Tell people about that.
Okay. So Mickey Stines, the sheriff, was only named in this lawsuit in his official capacity. He was not named in his personal capacity, as was the deputy. The deputy was named in both. Mickey was only named in his official capacity. So, where he was the sheriff, they were given an attorney, and I'm assuming it was through the Sheriff's Association.
Or the county, maybe. Yeah.
But they were represented in their official capacities. Even Ben Fields, the deputy, was represented by an attorney through that resource. So Mickey had his attorney at that deposition, but in walks one of the good old boy circle lawyers from Whitesburg and actually sits in. Alan actually sits in on the deposition, is listed in the beginning of the deposition. And we see him throughout the deposition be the only one that interacts, it seems like, with Mickey. Whenever Mickey has a question or whatever, throughout the beginning of the deposition, we hear Mickey ask a lot. Will you what was the question again? Will you repeat the question? And then at one point in the deposition, Mickey actually answers a question. And immediately after he answers that question with some information, this attorney and Mickey take a break. They go out, they take a break, their 5-minute break, or however long it was. They come back in, and Mickey never answers another question after that. Everything after that is, I do not recall, I do not recall, I do not recall.
And this guy, part of the Good Old Boy Network, he hasn't filed an appearance for anyone. He's not officially representing any party to the lawsuit. He was just there for that deposition, which I find strange.
Yep.
And you pointed that out.
So now, yeah, I did. I pointed that out as soon as the depositions came out. And now Ned is requesting the judge order this new deposition. And I guess based on that he cited Jeremy Bartley's quote as being the reason for that he was under pressure and may not have told the truth.
Well, Ned, by the way, has been here on this program, and I've been on Surviving the Survivor with him. Mm-hmm. He's a very well-known attorney down there in Kentucky. He is married to a former state Supreme Court justice who, in her own right, probably eclipses him. I mean, she's amazing and has a very good reputation. He is representing both Sabrina Atkins and the late Jennifer Hill, the estate of Jennifer Hill, in this lawsuit. You said something earlier about opening discovery. I just want to explain this real quick for those who don't know. There are different phases to preparing a trial. And there is a phase called the discovery phase where they depose each other. They have to share certain things that they discover. Basically, each side understands what the other side is doing. They're going, okay, so the plaintiffs are going to say this, and this is what they're going to try to prove. And the defense they are going, and they understand what it is they're doing, but there comes a point where you got to move on in the process. They close discovery, no more discovery in the process. So what you just said is Ned has filed a motion to reopen discovery
Mm-hmm.
so that he can depose Mickey.
Mm-hmm. They had a settlement conference scheduled for this civil case, and it went into the settlement conference, and they did not come to an agreement.
Yeah.
So Ben Fields's attorneys had requested that the suit just be dismissed.
Yeah, which is
And
typical.
yeah. And I remember I spoke to an attorney not long ago, and she was actually saying that she would be surprised if they don't end up dismissing this case based off of certain technical aspects of it. So that kind of worried me a little bit. I'm no lawyer, so I don't know anything about those kinds of details, but like the statute of limitations and stuff like that, I'm not sure about
Yeah.
all that stuff. So, but
So
still.
that's what she said. The statute of limitations probably expired before they filed the suit.
But see, this is where it's very unusual. So this civil suit was initially filed, and based off of this civil suit being filed is only when the criminal investigation into Ben Fields was initiated.
Yeah.
And there was no criminal case
Yeah.
whatsoever.
You brought that to our attention last time, and I was surprised. I hadn't put that together. That it was, and that actually makes, like, I've called Sabrina Atkins and Jennifer Hill heroes in this. It makes them even more heroic because they didn't have any cover. They had no cover when they decided to go ahead and do this, right? I thought that he pled guilty, he was sentenced, and then they're like, oh, okay, well, now it's proven, so we can go ahead and file this federal lawsuit. But that is not the case. They filed the federal lawsuit, they start going through discovery, they do their proffers, and then lo and behold, the Attorney General's office is like, what's going on here now? And they just, I mean, how did the Attorney General's office get involved?
Well, Ned actually, the Attorney General's office is the one who did all those proffers and
Yeah.
stuff. They were involved. So Ned, based off of what he has said in his interviews, he went to the Attorney General's office and said, look, we've got text messages, we've got digital proof that
Yeah.
this has been happening. And I think that is the only reason that this progressed at all, was that there was actual evidence on a phone, like
Yeah.
text messages. And he also had one of the actual ankle monitors that Ben had given her for cover.
Uncut. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
And
So
that's what Ned took to the Attorney General's office and said, look, this is what we got. We need you to help us, investigate this case. And he says that usually they've never been very helpful to him in getting a criminal investigation started like that. And he said he was very surprised that they actually took this and went with it. Now, I'm more cynical than you are, Fish. You're
I'm
I'm
a
a lot.
healthy skeptic. You are a full on cynic, right?
I am. I am. I've just seen too much of the dirtiness that goes on down here in these mountains.
So one of the things that is just, I mean, this always, what am I trying to say here? It's kind of one of those be careful what you wish for. You might just get it kind of things because, okay, so they file this federal lawsuit that leads to a state criminal investigation. It leads to a successful prosecution. The guy pleaded guilty, but they're still back over here on the federal lawsuit. But that leads, I think, directly to the murder of Judge Kevin Mullins, because Ned has said the whole time, man, that Mickey was just off on that Monday. He was just off. And he has been asking those questions. You brought up the lawyer that wasn't signed on to as appearing for anyone, keeping Mickey from saying anything else. And then 3 days later, allegedly worried about the safety of his family, Mickey Stines guns down. He walks in to this office. Hold on, I want to do this one, right? He walks into the office. They're having a meeting. They had just gone to lunch. He had just sent, taken some Meals on Wheels kind of thing out there, but he's still off. And, a few minutes after this part of the video is taken, he shoots Judge Mullins 8 times. That federal lawsuit led directly to it. That's crazy.
I think it did. I've always said that from the very beginning, that I thought that was connected from the get-go. I just wasn't sold on the sheriff's daughter having something to do with the judge. I was never sold on that. I don't believe that Mickey was a saint either. I think that let me pull up this actual quote, and
Right.
I will read for you the actual quote that
That Ned said.
Ned has cited. Yeah, he says, okay. Okay. The motion for additional discovery and a new deposition quotes the attorney as saying, I think one of the big things is that my client felt there had been pressure placed on him not to say too much during the deposition and not to talk about things that happened within the courthouse, particularly in the judge's chambers. On the day that this shooting happened, my client had attempted multiple times to contact his wife and daughter, and he firmly believed that they were in danger. He believed that they were in danger because of what he knew to have happened within the courthouse. And there was pressure, and there were threats made to him to sort of keep him in line, to keep them from saying more than these folks wanted him to say.
Listen, I've been asking this whole time why Jeremy Bartley, Mickey Stines is represented by this couple partners in law, partners in life, right? It's a husband-wife duo of Jeremy and Carrie Bartley. But I've been wondering why he has been on the media so much. Like every lawyer I've ever met says no comment when the media asks, right? But this guy has been talk. It almost feels like there's an alliance going on, right? That it's better for his client if more happens over on the federal lawsuit that would show what he is claiming. I don't know, man. So that was in his motion to open discovery. Is that where you read that from?
Yeah, that was in the news article. Yeah, that they printed about it.
Okay, I'll log into Pacer and see if that's in the motion. There's got to be stuff in there. I'll log in and grab that. We need to.
I didn't even think to ask.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'll do that. I've been in Pacer today investigating a company that this is apropos of nothing, but as you know, I am a local reporter. I did a count I've got well over 1,000 bylines now. The time that I've been doing this, it's pretty crazy. But I've been in Pacer all day because there was like this capital investment company based in Florida that supposedly had purchased and managed 50 companies, and they came into our little neck of the woods and purchased a a company that was like an HVAC and mechanical company from a guy that had started it like 30 years ago or 28 years ago or whatever it was. So he starts this company literally out of his van, right? Builds it up into a major company in our area. Major meaning he like maybe employed 20 people, something like that, right? When he gets ready to retire, he sells it to this capital company. They like jack up all of the debts that the company has, and then they fold the company and declare bankruptcy, and then like split down. They're gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I've been in Pacer investigating this all day. So what's another page? I should just go and check it out. I'll get it for you.
Well,
Freaking
fish,
people.
that is what you were just saying. White collar crime is just through the roof. Think about this, especially the law enforcement around here. Like, that's not a lot of what they investigate.
Yeah.
Stuff like, you've got millions and millions and millions of dollars. You've got so much funding coming into this area of southeastern Kentucky, because of the disasters, because of the substance abuse, because of just all of this crisis that the people are in.
Yeah.
And you don't have a whole lot of oversight over that money. And so I think there's a whole lot more. I have equated this whole corrupt system down here to an organized crime ring. That's what I think. I think we're looking at more of a sex trafficking, um, a drug. I mean, I think that this really does go way beyond what we've seen so far.
Yeah. If we take Ned Pillersdorf at his word, which I do, I mean, I don't think that he's had any incentive to lie in any time he's talked with me. The incentive just doesn't seem there. But one of the things that he brought up is, there are 3 women that he knows of that Ben Fields abused. His 2 clients, and then another client or another woman who was not his client, right? And he goes, if there are 3, there are 30. And I think that I mean, you can apply that to almost anything. You're talking about trafficking. One of the cases that I'm
Yep.
covering here on my channel is the disappearance of Elisa Petrov. I'll show you a picture. I don't have one where you're going to be up on it too, but here's a picture. She's 15-year-old Elisa Petrov, and the 3 men that have been basically found and arrested related to her disappearance. One is in Texas, one is in Florida, and one is in Utah. She is herself in Utah. So it's like they are organized. They are, I mean, it's a ring. And I had one viewer who said, holy cow, like she commented as I was covering this. At the time, there were only 2 that they knew of. They didn't know about the 3rd. But she goes, I know both of those men, and they know each other. I know they know each other. Right? And then she
Mm-hmm.
contacted me afterwards, and I'm satisfied as a layperson / investigative reporter that she's not lying, that they both lived, uh, 10, 15 years ago in the same place, and now they belong to this ring where they're trafficking girls. Now, well, could be boys too. They're trafficking people, right? So,
Yeah.
but you're right. Like in these little towns like my town, they have a drug task force. They have they have like the humane society, not humane society, but the animal cruelty task force, the making sure that people are humane to animals. They have task force on things that they know are happening, but they do not have the human trafficking task force. They don't have the white collar stuff. I think that they kind of leave that up to larger jurisdictions, I guess, or larger agencies. They don't have it.
Well, here is why I think that there's a lot of politics involved. Our Attorney General's office has a human trafficking task force, a sex trafficking task force.
Mm-hmm.
Why would that task force not have investigated the Ben Fields situation? They had the knowledge that there were more than just him being accused. They only had text messages that were brought forward to Ned
Yeah.
on Ben. But there was never any investigation into the judge. There was never any investigation into the other higher ups that Sabrina said was doing the same thing. Now, I have myself seen a video of one of the higher ups, and I'll go as far as to say it's somebody in those videos from the court that we watch at the courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
They're in that video. They're in all of those videos.
Yeah.
And so we know that it's been happening. We know there's evidence out there. Why has it been so why has it just been so dismissed by law enforcement? Why has it been so widely dismissed by all of these attorneys? Why?
Yeah, because it could be. I mean, it could be worse than what you're saying. It could be that they know about it and are approving of it, even, right? It could be way, way worse.
It absolutely could be. And, I have always said that I think that Mickey should have been at least had a drug screen, a talk screen the night that happened, but there wasn't. But, I kind of have a theory that maybe he was somehow either accidentally or purposefully or intentionally exposed to some kind of maybe methamphetamine or something. I don't know. But they could do a hair test. These tests don't just prove the presence of, they also disprove, the presence of, or they'll prove the absence of. And
Yes.
so at least we would be able to rule it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, there's an obvious hole in what you're just saying, and that is that he just doesn't have a lot of hair. Just throw that out there. Yeah, that's no. It just things don't pass the smell test down there for sure. And I mean,
No.
Does it take the murder of a judge in his own chambers for people to like wake up? Because it's got to be an open secret. Like people got to know about this.
Absolutely, it is. This has been before the judge was killed, the sex stuff was all bragged about. Like they were proud. That was something that they were all very proud of. One of them I'll quote. I've heard the quote from 100 different people. This was one of his favorite things. Well, I sure ain't no drug addict. I'm just a hardcore pervert. That was his favorite saying, and he would say it to everybody. Come to find out, this same attorney allegedly had a massage table set up in the back of his law office that he would, I've had women tell me that he would say, come lay on this table and let me give you a massage, and they're in there trying to hire him for their
Wow.
divorce, and he's trying to sweet talk them onto the massage table in the back, you know. So this goes way deep, and it goes way farther than what people want to admit.
So here's something that I don't understand, and it's just going to put my naivety on display here. Okay. But so I understand, I guess, rationally, uh, I can reason this out that it's all that stuff's really not about sex. It's really about power. I understand that, right? I guess I understand it. At least superficially I do. But in the age that we live in, you don't have to do all the weird, freaky crap that these guys are proud of doing, allegedly, who are accused of doing. You don't have to do any of that stuff. There is ample opportunity for you to let your freak flag fly in this day and age. It's really easy to find people that are compatible with your weirdness, right? Why is it that these weirdos are still doing this crap? I don't get it.
Well, I was told by a former jail employee who worked alongside Ben Fields for many years. They said that they had never seen Ben with a girl prior to Angie Fields, the one that he married,
Okay.
from meeting at the jail.
Yeah.
So he was not a playboy. He was not a ladies' man, and at all, at all. But prior
Okay.
to working at the jail, and
Well, he
think
is a
about what,
predator. Like that.
right?
Like, oh, go ahead.
Well, think about what one of the victims said. She said whenever he was dropping her off, she couldn't tell if he was trying to kiss her or eat her face.
Oh,
Remember?
yeah.
He was so forceful on her, on her.
Yeah.
And if you put those two personalities together, that's what you just said. It's a predator. They lurk, and they learn where they can,
Yeah.
you know, most women wouldn't have given him the time of day,
Yeah, you helped
on
me
the
answer my
outside.
own question on that one. You're right. It's not about sex, not even about power. It is about hunting. It's about being a predator. That's what it's about. It's just
And taking advantage of people that are more vulnerable.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what a predator does, right? A mountain lion doesn't go up against a bear. It finds a weak little fawn, and that's
Yeah.
what it does. Yeah. So that's what they're looking for. They're looking for that and I'm not like overtly saying these people are weak, but they have weaknesses that can be exploited, and that predator can see it. And so that's,
Mm.
I mean, in Ben's case, it was obvious. He's like, I am your jailer. I hold the keys to your freedom. Do what I want you to do, and you can keep your freedom. The other people
Mm-hmm.
are maybe a little more nuanced, maybe not, because according to Sabrina Atkins, she sees a video of Judge Mullins in his office, and she says, "How do you?" The investigators, how do you know it's his chambers? Well, the quilt. Like she's seen it. This is before there was a camera in there. So, yeah, that's
That's right. That's a really good point to make, Fish. That was before there was a camera in there.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it was VHS.
Mm-hmm.
It was VHS. That's what she said. It was a tape. It, in fairness, I don't know if it was VHS. It could have been Betamax. This could have been going all the way back to the 70s, right? The point is, it's had been going on a long, long time, and it probably predates the people that are doing it that we're talking about that were doing it. This behavior predates Kevin Mullins.
It sure does. Listen, right after this happened, I had a fella reach out to me, And like his wife has worked at a local school for over 2 decades. He's a very credible source.
Hmm.
But he reached out to me and said that he worked at the jail a long time ago. It was prior to even the prior administration. Um, and he said that it was one of his first days. He was new, he hadn't been there long, and he had to take the women to go do their laundry. So he goes, and they only send one female. It's like you have a trustee person, that will take all the laundry from the women, and she will be the one to do it. So
Yeah.
the guard, he goes and gets her. She gets all the laundry, the girls' laundry. They go to the laundry room. He said she does her thing, puts all in the laundry. And then after she gets done doing her work, she comes over in front of him and just drops her drawers down to her ankles and bends over in front of him. And he said, I like to have died. He said, I was like,
She just,
what the hell are you doing? Pull your pants up. Puts and she all was in like, the laundry.
oh,
And then
sorry.
after
Sorry.
she
Go
was
ahead.
like, what are you? He was like, what are you doing? And she was like, what's wrong with you? This is the deal. This is the thing. And he
This
was
is
like,
what we
not with
do.
me. Yeah, he was like, not with me, it ain't. And he said, never again did I ever take another female out of the female cell. He said, I took her back. He said, and put her up. He said, and I never did do it again. He said, every time after that, he said, I would go get their laundry myself. He said, and I would do it. He said, I did not take a female.
So, I mean, we're talking about, when you're talking about the former administration, are you talking about the judge or are you talking about the sheriff?
I'm talking about the jail. So this would have been 30 years ago.
Oh, okay.
We're
Oh my
talking.
goodness. So, I mean, literal generations. For generations,
Yes.
it has been doing.
And this was in the basement of the courthouse. Then the jail has always been there. So this has been going on for a very long time, I feel.
Yeah. Has the jail always been underneath the court? It's always been that way.
Ever since, yeah,
I mean,
ever since I've known.
so the reason I asked that is like the the closeness of the two things being so close. If that is happening in the basement, it's going to bleed up into the first floor, right? So if it's happening with the COs, it's happening with the bailiffs. If it's happening with the bailiffs, it's happening with the judges. That's
Yep.
wow.
And I had a lady reach out to me too. She grew up here, but she left here, and she grew up very close to Mickey Stines,
Mm-hmm.
and knew him all their lives. And so she leaves, goes and becomes successful in her own career. But her son was still living here. Her son gets in trouble, and he has to go to court.
Okay.
So she comes in to town to go to court with her son, and they're in the courtroom. And this was back when Mickey was the bailiff for
Okay.
Judge Mullins. And Mickey recognizes her in court, and she said, as soon as we left the courthouse, Mickey starts sending her messages on Facebook Messenger. Hey, man, you looking so good. I can't believe that was you. It's so good to see you, just catching up. What do you use Facebook for?
Yeah.
And she said, so she goes on back home, and he's messaging her, ever so often. And he ends up sending her, she says, he allegedly ends up sending her an unsolicited pecker pick.
Mm.
And she said, I was just shocked. She said, I was absolutely shocked. And she said that Mickey said, oh, I've never done this kind of thing before,
Uh-huh.
I'm
Never done it
so
before. First time. Come on.
So I've had a couple people reach out to me and say that Mickey was doing the same thing. Now, not nearly as many. So Mickey was kind of overweight, and he was more of a jolly good dude, than
Yeah.
some of the others. So I don't know, but I can see how when you have a rotten apple in the
Yep.
middle of a bunch of other apples,
Yeah.
wherever they're touching, that rot spreads.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
It
So
will infect the uninfected.
I wonder what the chances are that Ned gets his wish, that his motion is granted, that he's able to re-depose Mickey Stines. And will that mean that
I
he
think
redeposes others as well? Because that is the way that they do it. Like, the more information that a lawyer has, the more ammunition they have to fire at other people, right? And there are other people involved in this now. I mean, well, Ben was always involved in it, but will Ben start to open up a little more about, what was happening?
well, what you had, the piece of the puzzle that Mickey did speak about in the deposition that I think is what caused the break, was Mickey said that when he got the phone call letting him know that the civil suit had been filed that day, our other judge, our circuit court judge,
Right.
and one of the drug court workers came over to the sheriff's department and told him that they were sorry, that they had heard this, that they knew this information, and they had not told him. They had not given him the heads up.
You know what? Okay. There was another criminal complaint that I read this week in my day job about a 9-year-old child who I want to keep it. Their grandfather had been essaying the child. When the child tells the grandmother goes, "I'll keep him away from you." Not, "Let's call the police, like, right now." Right? So that whole thing, it's exactly the same thing as a wife protecting her husband when she knows that he has been doing something sick and wrong and gross and illegal. That judge who knew that, and that drug court worker who knew that, they had an obligation to report that, not to Mickey, not to his boss, but to law enforcement. Come on, man.
But who
It's the same
sits
thing.
over? But who sits over the drug court program? Ben's sister. And she has been for 10 years, or however long the drug court program has even been there. So, and you also have to remember that Ben worked in the jail underneath the courthouse for 10 years, while Mickey was working as Kevin's bailiff upstairs.
Yeah, Ben
So
could have been
they knew
delivering women to Mickey and Kevin. He could have been the
they
delivery
knew
boy.
each other.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, you just don't know. And then now I've heard from, and I'll give him credit, Don McCall used to be our jailer. And I have heard that Don McCall didn't take no crap. He didn't let nobody near his paperwork. He did it all himself. He didn't trust nobody. He didn't give anybody, the room to do that, to mess up. Now, then we ended up getting this new jailer that came into office at the exact same time that Mickey did. And
It's an elected position. Is that what it is?
yeah, jailer is an elected position. And when
Wow.
and everybody kind of jumped ship right before Mickey shot Kevin. The jailer retired, and they actually made Mickey over the jail for the 2 weeks before he shot Kevin. So Mickey was over the jail.
Oh my goodness.
You can't make this stuff up, fish.
That is crazy. Striving to Titus, or Force Titus 2 says, Gavin and Elizabeth, I don't think any of those people are angels. In my humble opinion, there was a hierarchy of power within the club. They protect each other
Mhm.
until something hits too close to home. Well, yeah, I mean that's
True.
what we do as biological creatures. We organize ourselves. I'm sure there was a hierarchy. Uh, and then striving for Titus 2 then goes with Mullins, who's running the club now. I guess that assumes that Mullins was running the club.
Well, that lawyer that showed up for that deposition is one of the main ones, honey. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he's still down there defending cases.
Let's see. Butterfly Kisses goes, I wish Ben would talk now. Be interested to hear what all he has to say. If he would speak the truth, though. I mean, here's the thing about it. I was about to say, he couldn't, he's being sued personally and in his professional role, right? So anything that he did in his professional role, he would not have to pay anything for. The county or whoever has to pay for that. Personally, though, but
Mm-hmm.
what I was going to say is double jeopardy would apply. He could talk
Mm-hmm.
about it all he wants and not go down for the three women that we know about. But I don't think he's smart enough, but I think lawyers around him are smart enough to keep his mouth closed.
Well, they gave his wife a big promotion, and she still works
No.
in the courtroom.
I forgot. What is she doing?
Yeah, right after he finished his 6-month sentence, she was she was one of the supervisors in the jail while he was spending these 6 months there. But then
Yeah.
after he served his 6 months quietly and never rolled on anybody, I might add, then she gets a promotion to a better job in the courtroom. She's actually in all those videos that we see from that day in the smoke room. She was right there working with Mickey every day. She was right there working with the judge every day. She's right in there right now working with the prosecutor, the judge's brother-in-law, and whoever the new judge is. As long as she's still there. And by the video that we see after the shooting, I think, unless I'm wrong, but it looks to me like she's the very first person to get to Mullins after he's shot.
Oh, really?
But, mhm.
Yeah.
So he's not going to talk. If he talks and says anything see, she was the only smart one of the bunch, unless it was orchestrated that way and planned that way. She asked for a lawyer immediately when they tried to talk to her for the criminal case. But I'd
That's
like
what
to
she
know
should do.
why wasn't she deposed in the civil suit? Yeah, she of course, but so should have Ben. Ben should have known to shut up and not
Of
say
course.
nothing either.
No,
And
I
he
say
did.
this on my channel all the time. Like, no stupid criminals watch my channel. So, stupid criminals, talk all you want, man. Talk, blah, 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 blah. Do your thing. For the rest of us who are not criminals, just shut up. Get a lawyer. Don't talk. Ever. Police are in the suspicion business. There's nothing you can say to not make them suspicious. Just shut up. Yeah. Wow. No, like, if the drug court judge and the drug court administrator, whatever that was, knew what was going on with Ben Fields, then Ben's sister knew what was going on. You can't keep that stuff
Oh
quiet
yeah.
in an office. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it was Ben's sister that was talking to her colleagues, the judge and the other person. This can't possibly be true. Don't even worry about it. In the meantime, they should have reported that. Dang it, man! They should have reported that, not just to Mickey. That should have gone straight to the prosecutor's office, unless the prosecutor is in on it. Dang it! There's no way to get out, Elizabeth. There's no way out.
I'm telling you. And, that's the same thing with the victims and, people that want to come forward. Well, people that are still that are still in the shadows that
Yeah.
haven't come out yet, I don't blame them for a second Because think of it, probably half of them's married, or they were married when the whatever was happening, and their husband probably still don't know that it happened,
Yeah.
um, and then you also have to look at the social isolation and the retaliation, because you got that bunch still in the courthouse indicting people right now. One of the girls who came forward and told her story of being a victim of the judge that was just killed by our sheriff, this new prosecutor, the judge's ex brother in law, indicted her on theft charges and has
Mm,
said that he will make sure that she spends 15 years in prison. She had to take down all of her TikTok videos. When they went in to try and talk to the prosecutor, all he wanted to talk about was her TikTok videos and how she was hurting his niece and nephew by saying whatever she was saying. And now all of a sudden she's got theft charges. She gets fired from her job. And now all of a sudden her job is saying she stole money. And she swears up and down she didn't do it. Swears up and
and they've got
down
enough
she's
power that
innocent.
she'll plead guilty in order to not take those 15 years.
And how's that? How in the world can we allow an elected prosecutor to do that to our people? To do that to our community members? I don't care who she is. I don't care what she's guilty of. We cannot have that kind of vengeance and retaliation in our court system.
Yeah. How do you clean that up though? How do you drain that swamp? I don't.
You
I,
can't have our governor and our attorney general appointing these people,
well,
but
here's
they
the other
will.
thing. Here is the other thing, Elizabeth, and all due respect to all voters, but I go back to Men in Black. Tommy Lee Jones delivered the best line ever. He said, "A person is smart, people are stupid." And that is the truth, man. Voters, you can always count on them to keep the status quo, which is, in this case, stupid. It's just dumb. Nobody will vote these people out. And then, I mean, if they do, I mean, what do? You have to import a bunch of people that didn't grow up in Letcher County, import a bunch of people from somewhere else and get them to take these jobs. They'll get corrupted by the system almost as quickly. It's a tough job.
Yep.
There's no solution.
If you're not dirty when you go in, you're dirty when you come out. At least that's what I've always heard.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad,
Yeah.
Fish.
Well, here we
It's
are on a Friday evening and I'm depressed. That's not cool. That's funny.
well,
Well, I guess we got to keep an eye on this case. I mean, this is a case that you are covering very well. A couple of other channels are on it. Hey, you know what I haven't brought up? I've kept it down on the lower third there, guys. But if you have not subscribed to Hillbilly Crime, go subscribe. She's a growing channel. She's doing good work. I've got a link in the description down below too. But definitely subscribe to her channel. I love it when you come on, Elizabeth. Thanks for coming on.
yeah, no problem, Fish. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for the Friday night conversation. Sit tight for just 1 second. Hey, guys, let me push the right buttons here. Yes. Okay, couple things before we go. No shows over the weekend. I am going to take a break, but I do want to point out that if you ever need to reach me, you can go to gavinfish.com. There's a link down in the description below. You will see, if you click on this little icon right here, you'll get to this contact me page. While you're on the show, or on the, what is this called, a website, check out all the other cases that I've covered. There are some awesome case files there. Click on this little icon to take you over to the fish tank, where we're almost 4,600 folks in there. And then the last thing I want to bring up to you is there's a support me tab. These are all the different ways that you can support me, but what I want you to do is scroll down to the bottom and buy our lead moderator a coffee. She has been wrangling. She's been working hard twice today, and she would deserve your support. No guilt, no pressure. Just if you feel like you can do it and you want to do it, do it. That'd be great. All right. With that, guys, I bid you adieu. I will be back on Monday. Remember that next week I'm actually headed to CrimeCon in London. So on the 4th will be my last stream of the week. I have to look at a calendar here real quick. And I think that is, what day is that? Is that a Thursday? Dang it, Gavin. Come on. Where's the button? Yeah. Oh, no. So we will be doing 3 live streams next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then I've got some stuff for you to watch, all queued up and ready to go for when I am gone. Okay. I won't leave you high and dry. And then check my socials. I'll be checking in with you guys as I am gone. With that, I bid you adieu. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.